reports on the dispute in Canada, in Alma. We've had the United Steelworkers out and about all around the country, meeting with our members, meeting with workers, meeting with fellow workers in similar industries, meeting with wharfies, meeting with seafarers, and we're going to continue that action on until it's won. Now, what is it about? It's about everything we've been talking about over the last couple of days, and that is the issue of contracting out, sham contracts, casualisation of the workforce. This is the game on. This is the issue that all of us know is being rolled out everywhere around the world. And if we don't take it up, taking Marcel's comments with big unions all over the world and being able to take actions up, then we're never going to win it. We're going to be done. It's going to be a slow fry and death by inches. And I've got to say, the country leading, in my view, in this campaign is South Africa. I was speaking with Upe from the United Mine Workers in South Africa. The country's trade union movement on the 7th of March in South Africa are going out on strike over contracting out and casualisation. Congratulations to the South Africans. And we're talking about tough unions. They don't get any tougher than the United Miners Union in South Africa, who fought apartheid and continue to fight the greedy mining companies in South Africa, all of the same companies that like Rio Tinto and others, and I congratulate them on it. This lockout in Canada and Alma has seen 700 people thrown out, want to replace them by labour at 1/3 of the cost of unionised labour, and we can't allow it to happen. Steel workers. Why are we dealing with steel workers? We're maritime workers because they're our brothers and sisters and part of the union family, and we're going to support them. And already, Mick tells me that the donations that are coming in now, and I can tell Mark and Guy, it's spelled G-U-I, but it's Guy, is $13,000 have come in so far, and we're going to hand that cheque over to these guys before they leave. I want the branches to think about a delegation going over on the 31st of March for their big rally and day of action in Alma. Pack your woolies, minus 32 degrees over there. So I'll be talking to the branches about a couple of delegates to get over there and stand shoulder to shoulder with the steel workers in Alma and their families, like we did in Boron and like we'll do in Auckland, or anywhere else where workers are under threat. And I welcome our steel workers to the stage. Thank you very much.
Sisters, brothers, comrades, it's a great honor to be here in the name of our 850,000 members in North America. We're very, very proud to be here today. Like Ian told you, big battle in North America in the province of Quebec. We're steel workers from the province of Quebec, which we represent 60,000 happy, proud steel workers in that province. Quebec is a French-speaking province, so this is why on our logo, rather than being written USW, it's written Syndicat des Métallos. It means United Steelworkers in French. You know, it never ceases to amaze me, and I would like to thank the MUA, ILWU, CFMEU, and AWU to stand up so quickly behind us. Just a phone call away after these guys got locked out illegally, everybody stood up and organized for us to come out here and to explain to you the attack on these workers is also an attack on your workers. I'll go back. Mark is the local union president from Alma, Local 9490. He'll speak to you in a few minutes. Alma, Quebec is an area 5.5 hours northeast of Montreal. Just to give you an example, when we left February 20th to come out here to the United States and then Australia and then New Zealand, Mark left Alma. It was not bad. It was minus 35 degrees Celsius. When these guys got locked out illegally during the night, it was minus 50. And before we walked in here today, we're sort of happy because we spoke to our people, our members back there, and it's actually very mild out there today. It's minus 22. So just to give you an idea, listen, these guys, 780 members. What a great bunch of activists. I'm really, really proud of them. You know, they came into negotiations last fall. They had no demands for wages, no demands for wages. They had no demands for pensions. They had no demands for any sort of benefits. You know what they're fighting for? They're fighting for their community. They're fighting for the future generations, their kids, their grandkids. And you know what? We're faced with a company that most of you know, Rio Tinto. A bunch of fuckers, I can tell you that. And I'll tell you why we're fighting. I'll tell you why they're fighting, and I'll show you what money does, what power does, what Rio Tinto does. One of our members, 55 years old, working on his job. When somebody retires from Rio Tinto, they don't hire somebody else. They call a subcontractor, and they hire one guy in. Non-union, and I've always believed equal pay, equal work, equal pay. Now, this guy, 55 years old, is working on a job. His nephew's working on the same job that he's working on. You know how much he's making? $14.50 an hour. $14.50 an hour. Isn't that a disgrace? Isn't that against all the values that we've always been fighting for? It does not make any sense. So these guys went into collective bargaining, and they're not saying no completely to contracting out. It used to be contracting out was only in the maintenance department. Now they're hitting us on production jobs. It doesn't make sense. Where does it end? So these guys went into negotiations. And just to give you, just for your understanding, in the province of Quebec, to get your legal right to lock out or to strike, we obtained this legal right to lock out or to strike on December 31st. Okay? December 30th, these guys were at the table. You know, they were talking, talks were going on, not as quickly as the company hoped for, but talks were going on. Like a bunch of fucking hypocrites. This is a French-speaking province. On December 30th, they hired 150 goons, English-speaking only, and we have people exposed. This is an aluminum smelter. We have people exposed to beryllium, and after they finish their work, there's a decontamination procedure. So these guys are on their jobs, December 30th, 24 hours before their legal right to lock out. The fucking goons walked in there. You know what they told the guys? They had garbage guys. Get your fucking shit and get the fuck out of here. That's what they told the guys. They threw them off the job. And I'll tell you why. Strike one, Rio Tinto, strike one. Because by provoking these workers, they were sure, and they told them, you know, off the job, we'll pay you your wages for your shift. And why they were doing that? Because they were convinced that they would provoke these guys so badly that these guys would call a strike and walk off the job. But guess what? Guess what? They didn't. Our guys said, we want to negotiate, we want to negotiate, we want to negotiate. So that didn't work. It disgusts me. It disgusts me. You know what they did also? They called the judge in the middle of the night for an injunction. So now both unions from both sides started talking to the judge, both lawyers, and we succeeded for now, and we contested it, and I'll tell you how it goes. We're allowed 500 feet from the gate, 20 picketers 500 feet from the gate. There's 780 of us. So we put up a picket line also at the local union office, which is a little bit further. And now, you know what the judge says when we contested their decision? He says, well, listen, I'm from this community. There's 30,000 in the community and 300,000 in the area. He says, I can't hear this case because I come from this area. So we'll have to name another judge from Quebec City, which is maybe 2.5 hours away. And guess what? The court case will be heard only April 2nd. So in the meantime, you're riding on the picket line. And think about this. Think about this. Minus 35, minus 50 at night. You know what these guys, how they keep warm? They're burning 30 cords of wood every week. You know what a cord of wood is? That's 8 feet long by 4 feet high. They're burning 30 cords of wood every week. And guess what? They're not fighting for themselves. They're fighting for the future generations. And I raise my hat to them because these guys are fighting strong. So we're also legally attacking them on the illegal lockout, on the injunction, and here comes the scabs. Here comes the scabs. This was planned by Rio Tinto for so long. They had helicopters flying in scabs. They snowmobiled them in. And so we went to the labor minister and we said, listen, we want a government inspector to come in there because it doesn't make any sense. There's scabs in there, and there's anti-scab laws in the province of Quebec. You know what they did? Labor minister on a Friday afternoon comes out publicly in the media and says, to calm everybody down, he says, we will have government inspectors in here Monday morning. So you know what? If I want to rob a fucking bank, I'm going to go public and I'm going to tell the bank, I'm going to go rob your bank next Monday. That's what they did. But although this happened, we showed up there on the Monday, a few government inspectors, our local union officers, and we showed up at the gate, and Rio Tinto made them rot there for 2.5 hours in the cold. Then once they walked in the gate, they made them rot again, go through safety procedures that everybody knows. But still, we caught one scab. We caught one scab. So that's positive for us. They tried to hide them, but we still caught one. So we're contesting this also. What we're contesting is we want to have the right to walk in there anytime we want to check for scabs. But this is all pending. But in the meantime, these guys are still out there. And you know, normally when somebody gets locked out or somebody goes on strike and you take a ratification vote, which in this case was 88%, and 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the line, you take the same vote again, and that 88% is down to 60%, well, I'll tell you, this 88% is up to 100% right now, and all the community is supporting them. Like I said before, we after a few phone calls, MUA, ILWU, CFMEU, AWU, steelworkers, everybody together, we put this thing together. We said, you know, how can we fight a giant? How can we fight a giant that's all over the world? You know, because we believe and we feel that this is not only an attack on the Rio Tinto workers in Alma, Quebec. This is an attack on all the working class across the world. They're trying to eliminate what we've so long fought for, and, you know, we can't put up with this. And if they get through us, who's going to be next? Who's going to be next? Rio Tinto in Australia? Rio Tinto somewhere else around the globe? Look what they did. Look what they did in boron. And boron, we came through. Why we came through in boron? Because we had global solidarity. They may have the money, but we have the solidarity. And if we decide to fight, there is not one company on this planet that will be able to stop us. I guarantee you. Mark and I walked in here Sunday. We registered, and we felt so warm and felt so much supported by you people when we saw these t-shirts. We wear orange t-shirts. We came here and we saw these t-shirts, and your show of support to us, it feels so good. You know, since we've been in Australia, we're going to New Zealand next week. Everybody's been looking after us. Everybody's been looking after us. And I'll tell you, you people in this hall are an inspiration for our members, and we need your support. We need your solidarity, and I know we have it. Before I let Mark speak, I can tell you this. We have a good strategy going. It's working very, very well. Our next target is March 31st. March 31st in Alma, Quebec. And I'll tell you what we're doing there. And if anybody wants to come, they're invited. We have 780 locked out workers that are willing to take you into their families. And what an experience for this rally. Why? Because we've had support from all over the world, sending letters to Albanese saying, my union is behind the steelworkers. A fight on them is a fight, an attack on them is an attack on us. We're behind them. But we have to go one step further. We have to show Rio Tinto that we're not only able to send letters, we're able to go to Alma, Quebec, we're able to stand strong, show our colors, and fight this thing. And if they fucking hide on the planet Mars, we'll go after them. So with that, when Mark started coming out here, we had a demonstration in Montreal the Friday before we left, because the number one person from Rio Tinto, her name is Jacinthe Côté, she was speaking in Montreal, downtown Montreal, before the Chamber of Commerce. So we had a big demonstration out there, and we got the media attention, the media on our side. And you know what she said when she was interviewed after? She says, oh, I don't understand why he's going out on the planet. This thing has to be settled in Alma. And then the newspaper reporters came after Mark and his gang, and they said, you know, you're spending useless unions' money to go and travel around the world. And guess what happened? There was a survey done in the whole region, and over 84% of the population are behind these guys, because they know that they're not fighting for their $35 an hour. They're fighting for the children and their grandchildren and their neighbors, and that's what they're fighting for, and they're not going to stop till we win.